Hey everybody, welcome back to the Hellacious Hero Returns. This is CinemAsian episode 4 with Sanimation05. Do the chest thing. Let's do it. Yeah. Woo! Dream
King Kong.
team. Yeah. Dream team, baby. Dream fucking team. But hey, today is about the 2017 movie Blade of the Immortal, directed by Takashi Miike. Mikey? Something like that, one or the other, right?
Miike.
There you go. That's how you say it, just in case you were wondering. But it's based on this manga right here, by Hiroaki Samura, and it's a fucking sweet movie. I know that Sanne and I are doing these CinemAsian streams. We're doing like one on hers, one on mine, going forward, back and forth. We were talking about this earlier today, and really the synopsis of the movie takes place in what's the period called, Sana? It takes place in?
It takes place in Japan.
What's it called? Like the isn't it called like the Tokugawa Shogunate? Is that it?
Is it?
Yeah, I think it is. In Edo period Japan?
Well, yeah, there was a Tokugawa period, but I didn't pay attention if it was taking place in Tokugawa.
Yeah, I think it is.
The
thing that's great about it is, like, you and I talked about this earlier today. It's kind of like, isn't it funny how we both picked 2017 movies like Ghost in the Shell and this, and we had no idea it was even the same year. And like we did 2010 movies before, and now this movie's like a mashup between 13 Assassins and The Man from Nowhere. Like, it's about this samurai who meets a little girl, and kind of like, it's not like a mashup, but it's similar, the story in a way, you know.
And technically, Manji being also a Ghost in the Shell.
Yes, I didn't even think of that. That's a good point.
Just throwing it out there.
Throwing knowledge out. Boom, explosion.
Yes.
But really, this
smoke.
Yeah, and the smoke. This is, oh yeah, sorry guys, this isn't, illegal or anything. It's just incense, but it's pretty cool, right? Ew, that's gross. We're talking about old boy here. We're talking about Blade of the Immortal.
Yeah,
you're probably wondering
what you call it.
Yeah, Blade of the Immortal, not Blade of the Innocent. It's actually called Blade of the Immortal. But Manji, this guy we're talking about, the reason it's called Blade of the Immortal is he's like this mercenary, kind of like an outlaw, and he basically figures out that the person he is like loyal to is like really corrupt, and before this guy can take advantage of him and he executes this guy's order, he goes and like basically kills his own master and slaughters like all of his bodyguards. And it happens to be like one of the guys that he slaughters is his sister's husband. And after he kills her, she's like traumatized and just like pretty much just goes like out of grief and shock. She just like loses her. Yeah, and she just like really disoriented. Like she can't, like, she's really like she kind of like reverts back to a little kid almost. And anyway, the story goes, what happens is he's with her one day, and he wanted to commit like seppuku and harakiri and stuff and kill himself because of his dishonor to his lord or whatever, but he didn't want to do it because he wanted to protect his little sister, because he figured like she wouldn't be able to fend for herself because she's like basically just because of the stress and the trauma of losing her husband, which he caused, he feels like he needs to look out for her. But she ends up like wandering off when he's like with her one day, and he follows her, and she ends up like in this like city street with like all these like bandits and these like mercenaries, and they basically are holding her hostage. And Manji's like, let her go and I'll drop my weapons. So he drops his weapons, they let her go, and as soon as she walks by the one leader of the bandits, he like cuts her in the back and kills her. And that scene though, oh my god, it's in black and white at first. Sonic, so tell me about that scene, like what happens in that scene when like after his sister Machi gets killed. What do you think of that scene?
Well, this almost feels like, like you're being the teacher, you're calling out the student. Did you read the book? God damn it.
It's at the very beginning, the black and white scene after she
Yeah,
gets.
yeah. I'm sorry, Sensei. I really like the fact that it was black and white.
Yeah.
And I thought that was like a nice tribute to, the older cinema stuff, but also because it was like a black and white period for him. And, the entire standoff, it's the type of standoff that you would expect from Miike Takashi. It really just reminded me like, oh shit, this is like fucking 13 Assassin style. And I thought it was really cool. And how he's already then, even when he's just alive without the poison worms, whatever, blood worms,
Bloodworms. Yeah.
he's already like immortal because he just goes through them. Like they call him like the 100 killer.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, he's badass. The scene we're talking about, like if you guys get a chance to watch the movie, it's at the very beginning of the movie. It's in like the first 5-10 minutes of the movie. And like Sanne said, it's black and white. And the thing that you'll notice right away when you watch it is, like, we did a stream on 13 Assassins. We did a stream on Man from Nowhere, and they're very like almost realistic movies. The characters in 13 Assassins, they killed a lot of people, but like this guy literally kills like 200 people in the first 10 minutes of the movie, or 100 people in the first 10 minutes of the movie. But what I want to say about that is, like, you have to keep in mind when you're watching this that it's based on an anime and a manga. And I think that Takashi Miike did a really good job of like showcasing that kind of like anime manga feel where it's kind of like over the top, fantastical, and not really like, it's not really 100% believable. It's like fictitious when you watch it. But there
what's
are
the difference with superheroes?
Yeah, exactly.
There's no difference.
Exactly. And the thing that's great about it is like it's a really good move on his part of like directing it like it is an anime or directing it like it is a manga, because everything is over the top, everything is fantastic. And the thing I love about it too is there's a lot of like mysticism and magic kind of like not super heavily overloaded in it, but it's sprinkled in there to the point where it's like not oversaturated, but you're like, that's fucking cool. Like you're kind of like intrigued by it. Like and when he slaughters these people and stuff, he eventually kills the assassin guy. And like, Sonny, you mentioned this to me earlier, and I had no idea that it's kind of like this nun or kind of like this crone, like this old lady shows up. She's kind of like a witch in a way, and she kind of, instead of putting him out of his misery after he's laying there like dying, basically, because he gets his hand chopped off, he gets his face like all cut up, his eyes gone, he has a scar across his face, his chest is all cut up. She basically just takes this knife, and instead of killing him, she kind of curses him sort of to have immortality until he kills like 1,000 evil people. And whenever she gives him like these blood worms, like Sana was saying, and whenever whenever he gets like a wound and his hands get cut off or he gets dismembered, these worms will like literally like reattach his body parts together, and he can live. That's why it's called Blade of the Immortal, because he can't die. So it's really cool. And as soon as she puts the worms in him, after she slices him with a dagger, like the movie goes to color, which is fucking sweet.
Yeah.
He can see in color. Then it's like he can see it's really cool. He can see everything. So I really like that. It was neat. That was a neat shot, a neat scene.
Yeah, I really like that moment where everything becomes.
Yeah.
How's it going in your bunker, girl? Little finger action.
Oh my god.
Well, maybe you play with a joystick, as in video games, or a wink.
Fall Guys. Yeah.
He's here. Yay!
Yeah, Louis, kind of like Kill Bill. Yeah. Go ahead, Sana. Go ahead. What are you going to say?
Well, I mean, he mentions Kill Bill, and as I said before, there is an actress in there that she was really famous because of Kill Bill. She plays a schoolgirl with the spiky ball, and like, she is so fucking badass. And she is in this movie, but not as much as she should be. And her name is, I wrote it down because, scatterbrain. I'm a scat man. Chiaki Kuriyama, and she's also known for like Battle Royale, the Japanese version, of course, not what's the American ripoff of it, Mockingbird or something? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Hunger Games.
Oh, is it? Really? Okay.
It's just a flat out rip off of Battle Royale and also the original Japanese one.
Interesting. Sana hitting us with knowledge, baby. Look at that. My brain is smoldering. See that smoke coming out of it? It's legit.
It's actually a fart.
Oh man, I'll tell you what. It's building up. I got some flashlights coming, but
You got some Belgian sprouts.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Iku.
But I remember Sana was messaging me about this when she was gonna watch it, and she was like, "It's 2.5 hours long. Holy shit!
Yeah.
That's movie, man."
But it doesn't feel like that because after one point you just like, what, like 30 hours have passed by now. It's already like an hour and 20 minutes in. You're like, dang a lang.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. But speaking of the old lady, I have to take a quick peek at my notes again with her name. Jiao. No, Jiao. Yao Bikuni, which is from a famous Japanese folk story about, immortality. And, Japan is really good at telling stories, especially when it comes to folk stories. Like people were like for a long time terrified of like water because they were like, oh, they're water spirits and all that stuff. But she just, as far as I understood, is that her father once saw a fish with a human head on it, and everyone told them not to eat it. He ate from it. And basically his daughter got like immortality due to that. It's just an amazing folk story. It's probably way better if you look it up. But, just a small, what do you call it? Synopsis?
Small
Summary?
synopsis, little tidbit
Yeah.
sprinkled in. No, that's cool. That's kind of
Tidbit?
little tidbit. Yeah,
Tit.
little extra knowledge.
Well, that's the only thing I hear, like a bit of tit. Tidbit.
Yeah. Of course you would.
Now it's time for pepperoni pizza. Because
Oh,
Loey is in the house.
yes, delicious, delicious. No, but you're right. That's a really cool. That's a really cool tie-in. I like that. I like that info. That like, I like how he connected it sort of to that. Like, there is some Japanese folklore in it, and I think it also adds to what I mentioned earlier about like the whole like fantasy aspect. How you kind of have to like look at it like it's almost like it is like a folktale playing out, sort of in a way. I think that's really cool. And after we talked about the bloodworms going inside the character Manji, after that, like, and his sister's dead, it kind of like fast forwards 50 years, and he's been alive for 50 years. And there's this like new dojo martial arts school that's trying to go around Japan and like basically overthrow all these dojos who don't want to join up with this. What do they call it? Ito Ryu or something like that. This Ito Ryu dojo that doesn't want to.
Ryu.
Ito
Ryu
Ryu.
is so American, like Ryu of Street Fighters. Ryu.
Ito Ryu. Sorry, but yeah,
Which is also a nice, interesting story if you think about it. Everything makes sense once he starts explaining it to Rin, to the little girl that's the new protagonist.
Yeah. Rin is like he kills her entire family. This leader of this this dojo, he's trying to spread this new martial art that's like basically it's like in the manga too. Basically, just wants the best fighting style around. He doesn't care if it's unorthodox. He doesn't care if it's not traditional. He doesn't give a shit. He just wants the best style. And if people don't join him, he basically comes back after they refuse his offer and he kills everybody in the dojo. And like, but if they join him, he lets them come and like train with them. But if they don't, he just massacres people. So what happens is he goes to this girl Rin that Sona was talking about, like father's dojo, and he basically refuses. He tries to fight him, and the leader of this like new art style kills her father, and then he lets his goons like basically take advantage of her mother, but he leaves her alive.
Mm.
And he says no, like no raping, no hurting a kid. She's just a child. We don't do that kind of thing. So even though he's like an evil fuck and he kills people, like he does have a little bit of humanity.
Just
and then later, just a smidge. But then later in the movie, you find out like the reason why he really did kill her father, and it was because Rin's great grandfather had a dojo, and this guy's grandfather was like one of his students who protected him, and I guess somebody invaded them like years ago, and he had to protect this her great grandfather. And what happened was his grandfather, this guy's grandfather, killed 9 people trying to kill him, and his son, which would have been her grandfather, only killed like 4 people. So there's like a flashback scene where this guy's great grandfather's like, I killed 9 people. Why won't you let me like have the reins to the? Why won't you give me a license to practice and have the dojo and do this kind of stuff? And he's like, it's not our way. You use unorthodox methods, because his weapon was an axe. Like he used an axe instead of.
Yeah, and it's very interesting that he has this big, impossible axe. I really
Yeah,
like that scene where she sees him practicing in the forest,
it's awesome.
and then she wants to attack him. She wants to grab the axe, but it's so heavy, and
And
he
then she
just
can't
like
pick it up.
swings it up. I love,
I love that scene too. I like when he's actually practicing with it. And at the very beginning, I don't know if you noticed or not, but he's out there practicing. Like a leaf comes down and he like cuts it in half.
yeah.
Holy
It's
shit!
like, ooh,
It's really cool. But like, yeah,
makes shaving
his
a lot
style.
easier.
Yeah, it's really neat because like the style is like, it's not like Bushido like we would see in like 13 Assassins. It's really unorthodox. Like another thing I want to talk about in this movie is like Manji. The guy collects like so many fucking weapons, and he just like puts them in his gi. Like he just pulls them out of like fucking nowhere. But that's how it is in the manga too. Like he just has all this shit. Like I said, it reminds you of an anime. Like if you watch an anime, like if you see a ninja or something in anime, like they pull shit out of like everywhere. So it's kind of like this fantastical thing. But it's really fucking cool how Takashi Miike fucking showcased it in the movie. Some of the scenes with all the weapons are cool. Like I really like when he fights the other immortal guy, and they're like outside
Yeah.
each other, and like Rin comes out and she looks, and like the fucking guy on top has like, I don't know, 30 weapons out of his back. Like, yeah.
I was like, damn, that guy has a really bad backache if
Exactly.
was alive.
But the story is really complex and really neat. And if you like, I want to say this about the movie. If you really like what Sana was talking about, if you like folk legends, if you like Japanese mythology, Japanese literature, kind of like that mysticism and magic and all that kind of stuff, it's really cool because it's sprinkled in here. But it's also, if you like we just talked about, like Edo period Japan, the shogunate, movies like 13 Assassins, Samurai, that kind of stuff. It's like a mixture. It's historical fiction. It's like historical fiction. And it's really awesome because Sana and I both love like Japan in general. We love everything about it. We love the folk tales. We love the mythology. We love the real shit. We love the fantasy shit. We just talked about Ghost in the Shell yesterday. We love the like futuristic stuff they talk about, like everything. So it's really cool. What were you saying? What are you laughing about? We love the what?
The porn. The porn.
Oh my god.
Pixel.
Delicious. Pink lemonade.
Well, if that's what you call it. Pinku.
Oh my goodness. There she is.
Drilling again.
Can never get one past Donna. Yeah.
She's hungry. I'm hungry, y'all.
Hungry. Beep bop bop boda bope, whatever that means. Louis, explain. Oh God. What else about the movie, Sana, did you like?
I really love the end credits. No, what I really liked was when the other immortal guy shows up, that he like cuts the girl's tongue. By the way, this girl Rin, when she goes visit Manji, god damn it, she looks just like
Manji.
his little sister. So he's like, oh, Nisan. That's pretty cool. But when he cuts her,
that was his sister's name. Machi.
Yeah. What? All right, we're back. So when he cuts her tongue and he's like cutting his own hand, and he's like, yeah, if you lick it, you get the immortality. Like in a sense, like, if you lick this with all the worms, because he also has the worms inside, like then you can keep the guy alive. He just wants to see how desperate and how much he cares about the guy. And then he's like, oh, you really think that? Because he talks about, or he talks with Manji, right? Manji. Hi. before about how they are very similar, and there goes an earring.
It's an
So that was
immortal
my
earring.
brain dropping.
Earring of the immortal. Don't worry. It'll fuse to you. Do you have the worms?
No, maybe next week when I'm on my period. There's a nice cactus plant right next to me. What was I talking about? God damn it!
You're talking about the. You're talking about Rin licking the other immortal guy's wound to get the worms.
Oh yes, finger licking good. So how's the weather? I'm totally.
Oh, you're losing it. Don't worry, son. It's cool. I'll pick up the slack for you. Hold on. Let's go to the comments. Santa Scatman comment. That's what the beeba-doo bop be bop dee bop. Adrian, what's up, man? Thanks for hopping on. Appreciate it. Appreciate you, man.
Nah.
Ringworm. Nobody wants that.
Can we rewind to see what I was talking about?
Here's what you're talking about.
Back to our channel.
We were talking about Rin meeting Manji, and then you talked about how the one scene that you liked was when the other immortal guy was basically trying to recruit her to be his sidekick because Manji refused, and you wanted to showcase if she actually cared about him enough to actually do it to keep him alive because she would become the immortal, or so she thought, because the guy said like the worms will mingle with each other if you blood touches blood and you will have the gift of immortality, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what they also thought in the 80s with AIDS. But
that's true.
The conversation that he has with Manji, because I think that's where I left off, where he basically is talking about immortality, how it's really a curse. I really like the conversation that they are having, and I don't know if it was against Manji or against Rin, where he's like, I have had 5 wives, and it's like 200 something years that he's already alive, so he has seen all the miserable shit. And a lot of people nowadays really want immortality. Look at the Queen of England and who else? Rockefeller, okay, banned for life from YouTube. They want immortality, but it's just a curse.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they really are longing for that because they see death all around them, which I think. Please help me out here, Joe.
No, you're right. I agree with you. I see exactly what you're saying. Here's what I want to say to kind of like add to that. Okay.
All right, cool.
The thing is, like, the main character in the story is obviously Manji. It's called Blade of the Immortal because he's the immortal one. Yeah, there's some other characters who have it a little bit, but he's like the main character. The thing I love about that and to contrast that is Manji has immortality. He is immortal, but he has no allegiance to anybody. He doesn't want to make a name for himself. He doesn't give a shit about dojos. He doesn't give a shit about working for the shogunate, working for this new studio or this new art. He doesn't care. He has no allegiance. He's a Ronin. He goes and does whatever he needs to do. He's a bodyguard for this girl. Like before he was the bodyguard, he was just out there like fishing and had like a little hut and he was like cooking food on a stick and, he didn't give a shit about anything. And really, the thing that's funny to contrast that is all these other characters who are working for this dojo want immortality through their art. And I think it's kind of cool. Like they want to be remembered by being the greatest warriors ever. And you have like all these characters, like even the main character at the end, before the little girl can't kill him, like she doesn't have the guts to do it. And then eventually she runs up to him to try to kill him. And then he takes his axe and swings it around to actually kill her. But Manji jumps in front, takes the axe, and then she stabs the guy in the heart and finally kills him. But before that scene happens, he says, like, the age of fighting and the age of the warrior and the age of the sword will come back to these lands, whether it's me or if it's my children or my grandchildren or whoever, it's coming back. So basically, like, the idea of my art is going to be immortalized in my kids, my grandkids, their grandkids. And it's so funny to see that because, like, he wasn't even immortal, but the whole idea, like Sanne saying, of immortality it's like people just want to have a legacy. They want to leave a legacy behind. Like, what's your legacy? What is it? What is it? And Manji's like the complete opposite. Like, he doesn't give a shit. He just wants to die. Like, he's like, what if I can die? I have nothing to live for. I've lived too long. This is over. And that scene she talked about with that guy with the bloodworms, he was also had these bloodworms actually before Manji had them. And he was working for this dojo because he was a special like assassin for these people and he had a special art, but he decides he doesn't want to do it anymore, so he comes to fight Manji to try to recruit him to overthrow these guys, and Manji refuses, and then they start fighting each other. And then what happens is this guy, because he's 200 and some years old, he travels to, I think he said Tibet, and he gets this bloodworm poison, and what he does when he fights Manji is he coats his sword with it. And when he stabs Manji, like, he doesn't heal as fast because he's not healing at all. Like, his wounds and stuff start reopening. Like, his eye that's cut is opening back up. The scar on his face opens back up. The scar on his chest opens back up. His hands, like, not working right. And eventually they have a duel, and they duel like 2 or 3 times in the movie. Eventually they have, like, the last duel, they fight each other. Like I said, when all the weapons are sticking out of the guy's back, they're outside, like, just fucking stabbing each other.
So cool.
Yeah, the guy pulls out the vial, and that's when he says, I got this from Tibet, blah, 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 on my journey or whatever. I've been alive for 200 years. This is where I discovered it. He pours it all over his blade because he's trying to kill Manji. But then when Manji starts to get really aggressive and attack him, he just lets him kill him because Manji's like, you could have dodged that easily. Why did you let me stab you? Blah, blah, blah. He's like, you know why? You know why? Because I don't want to live anymore. I think he even says, like, I'm tired of being alive. And he dies. So, like, the bloodworm poison he was going to use against Manji uses against this other, like, so quote-unquote immortal guy who has the worms, and he dies, and Manji lives. And I found this interesting, too, so I don't know if you picked up on this. Did you notice that the more people Manji killed, the weaker the bloodworms became? Did you notice that?
Yeah, especially in the forest where also the lady showed up again. Like, but this is what you want, right? Or are you saying that the girl is more important? Like, his hand, he's like, come on, like, be attached so he can, like, cut the guy off or cut the guy at least, because his other hand is still somewhere hanging around the tree.
Yeah. I love that scene too. I wanted to talk about, oh, that's fucking great. I love it. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Manji is a fucking hilarious character too. Like, some of the shit he says. He fights like this one ninja guy from the dojo that's trying to take over everybody, and he calls him Spiky because he has like fucking spiky hair. It's so funny.
But that's also like so typical anime, like the one thing that you expect from a Japanese person.
It's so funny, like like we talked about, like it's like you're watching a manga. It really is like a live action adaptation of a manga or an anime, and it feels like it. It's like it has the humor, the comedy, all that really cool stuff. I mean, it's great. It's amazing, and yeah, I think Manji's, oh my god, his character is fucking hilarious. I don't know what else to say. Like you said, it's like you're watching an anime and watching this character like come to life. It's like, what's the name of the actor who plays him?
Kimura Takuya. I fucking love him.
See, Sana's in love with this guy. I think he's a great actor. I've only ever seen him in this and I think another movie. She actually showed me a video game today that he's in. I didn't even know it existed. She was like, oh, check it out. It's legit. Judgment.
Yeah, Sega. If you're familiar with the Yakuza games, you will definitely love this because it's like a side thing. It's not really, well, I think it is in a way related, but it's a different story. It's pretty cool. You play like a detective lawyer type of guy that, oh, it's just so fucking awesome. Play it! Judgment. Sega.
Judgment.
But he is amazing. I actually also have, when I was in Tokyo, I actually bought some of the singles of the group that he's in. It's like fucking horrible. Because it's funny, because our first stream about 13 Assassins, it's with Goro Inagaki, and I was with Kimura Takuya, and they were in the group together. So it's kind of like conspiracy confirmed.
Conspiracy confirmed.
He is so fucking cool. I've seen so many of his drawings because he is basically one of the main actors that in Idol Japan that kind of like stands out because a lot of the people that are idols don't really have that much talent, but he kind of delivers in every movie. Though he kind of plays the same type of character all the time, like this badass, cool asshole, but in a good way, like a hero, which is also a series that he did, Hero. Uh, he's amazing, and I really have it on my list to watch all of his movies. He's just fucking amazing.
Nice, nice. Whatever Sana said, make sure you guys are hitting it up. VV, hey, what's up? Make sure you hit up whatever Sana just said. Louis says Sega. Nice, Sana. That was a good impersonation. Care to do it again? I'm gonna do Sega again.
Sega.
That was for you, Louis.
Now you can only you can recognize the sound like ding whenever it's Sega or they Sega.
But the movie, much like 13 Assassins and the way it's directed, is beautiful too. I mean, we talked about in our 13 Assassins stream how it showcases like parts of Japan. One scene that I love the whole fucking movie, but
many scenes.
Yeah, 2 or 3 scenes that really stick out to me in my head, like right now that I'm thinking of, are when she leaves and leaves him that note, and she's like, "Listen, I can't put you in harm's way anymore. I'm sorry for using you to be my bodyguard. I should do this on my own, blah blah blah, and seek my own revenge. Like, I'm sorry for wasting your time." And she heads out of the village to go confront the leader of the dojo, and he basically reads the note and he's like, "Fuck," and he starts chasing her, and then like you said, he gets stopped on that road by 3 of the goons, and he kills all of them and gets his like healing factor back up to like 100% because he tells the mystical lady, the woman, that, hey, look, yeah, this girl means a lot to me. Like, I don't give a shit if I live forever now anymore or whatever. I want to make sure she's okay. And he goes, gets his powers back. But when she runs into the leader of the thing and he has the axe, and he's like, the thing that's cool about him is like he could easily kill her, but he's like, he doesn't kill her. He's like, I don't have time for you right now. He's like, there's bad shit coming. Get the fuck out of here now before it's too late. And she's like,
also because he's himself in her.
Yeah.
She wants revenge.
Mm-hmm. Like, he says that too. I think he says that in the movie. He's like, "How could I kill you? You're just like me. You're a heretic. You practice the unorthodox art." Yeah. You're right. Absolutely. And that scene when she's like ready to slice him in half, the shogunate soldiers come because they're like, the shogunate will never bow to your dojo. We're never going to surrender to you. We tricked you, whatever. They basically tricked this guy because he goes to accept the shogunate's like dojo's like be the recipient of this new studio. Oh yeah, we'll practice your art, blah blah blah. And they say yes at first. They trick his ass. Like one of his like really somebody who he thinks is like a really close advisor and a friend of his basically betrays him and is like, fucking, we're not accepting your art, blah blah blah. And the scene I love is when the shogunate soldiers come and they corner like the girl Rin and the leader of the dojo, and they're fighting. And the leader, I think his name was Habaki, the guy who betrayed his friend. Actor. Yeah, he's like, kill them both. And the shogunate soldiers go to kill all of them. And then Manji throws this fucking like star on the top of this like hut. And
like a badass.
It's so cool, like a ninja star, yeah, and it's so badass. And like I love the scene because it shows like these leaves in the background that are just like so beautiful, like fall leaves almost, like this like orangish, greenish, yellowish combination of leaves like in the background. I love that shot, and it just shows him like standing on the roof after he throws the star, and he jumps down and he's like fucking, oh, it's badass. He's like, government soldiers, Ito, what is it? Ryu soldiers, and he's fucking.
The way that he confronts her is like, what do you want? Because as far as it looks like, you're protecting the guy that you want dead for so much. Like who do I have to kill? Like literally, like who do I have to kill? I thought that was so fucking cool. And then
she was like, what'd she say?
Like, oh God, I forgot.
I think the line is he's like, what am I supposed to do? He's like, you don't want revenge on the guy. You're protecting him. Because they were going to kill this guy, and the girl Rin who seeks revenge on this guy is like, no, you guys he's only one man. What are you doing? 1,000 people against one guy, blah, blah, blah. And then like Sana's saying, Manji shows up and he's like, listen, do you want me to kill this fucking guy or not? And then she's like, no, I want you to kill anybody who's going to kill me. And he's like, all right, blah, and he pulls the shit out.
And then it's like the government or the...
He's like, government or fucking this dojo, I'm going to kill everybody. And he's just hacking people up, and the dojo guys hacking people up, and the girl's like behind Manji and these guys while they're fighting. It's badass. It's badass. Vivi says this movie is a poem written in blood. Yes, 100%.
Speaking of blood, the one guy with the saw blade,
Yes.
when he's fighting him, when he throws him off the waterfall, I actually just see like a splatter
The
of blood.
splat.
I was
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was like, of course.
That's such a cool scene too. You know, like this guy, that's a cool character. I love that character too. Like he's a complete dick. But yeah, Vivi, that's a good point. Here's another point that I want to make. The splat, right? And then a poem written in blood, right? When the girl who fights Manji in the alley and she can't kill Rin because she's like, "Oh, you're too much of a child that like you really do have like a good moral code and a good moral compass and you're trying to protect this guy. I can't kill you." So she leaves. Then she comes back at the end battle to defend
I love
her
her.
her leader of the dojo, yeah. And they're using guns because she's like, I smell gunpowder, and she gets shot like 5-6 times, but she's like still fighting. She kills like all the gunmen, and then after she dies, she falls off the roof of this building. And then Manji comes back after he fights that guy Sana was talking about who goes off the waterfall, and you can see like this river of blood. It's just blood everywhere, like the whole like there's bodies everywhere, and there's just like this river of blood. And then they're fighting in this like river of blood, like VV said, poem written in blood. Like that reminds me of that. Like you said, the splat when he gets off the waterfall, and then the river. I mean,
But
just
also that says to him that he has to thank her.
yeah,
You see her dead body laying there because Makia Otono, that's her name, Makia, in the movie. I think she's so fucking badass. Like her first appearance, so to say, when he is at this restaurant, whatever, at this geisha club, and then the door opens and she sees him. She's like, her entire face just like, oh, I know why you're here. And fuck, when she just like shows up in the alley against Manji and just go at him, and then her entire stick and the purple dress is so like, for the first time I really appreciated Erika Todo in a movie, Toda I should say. It's so badass, and I love what she says, like, when I'm fighting, I don't know what I'm doing until I get like my conscience back or something like that. That's when she realized the horror things that she just did, and she started crying like,
yeah,
I don't know what I did. I thought that was so cool, and you see that also with the last battle when she shows up, which is so cool. With her short hair, it was a sign of the fact that she was not really been loyal to him, so she cuts off her hair and then she shows up, and then always with the lag out, and fucking awesome.
it is awesome, and that's a great point, Sana, because I want to talk about that too, like the way the movie's structured. It's almost like we talked about earlier. We talked about how we love anime and Dragon Ball Z, and you remember like the characters go out and they fight like different villains like every episode. It's like, in Dragon Ball Z, they would fight like Nappa and Vegeta, and then they eventually join the crew. And then like there's this Frieza saga, and then there's the Cell saga, and there's the Buu saga. It's like, it's kind of like that for Blade of the Immortal. It's like all these people from the dojos, Manji has to confront them. Like he confronts this one guy who basically has like a burnt face, like up here, his eyes, and he wears like the samurai mask, and there's like these things on his shoulders, and you don't know what they are until like a little bit later in the movie. You're like, what the fuck are those things on his shoulders? But the night that Rin's parents got killed in that dojo, the men had their way with his mother. Like they raped her, obviously. You can hear her screaming. He shields her, the samurai dude with the burnt eyes, and says, like, close your ears and like close your eyes. You don't want to see or hear any of this shit. And then like after that, he confronts her like when she comes back after visiting Manji to hire him as a bodyguard. And he's like, I fell in love with you that night. She's like, you've been writing me letters. Like, what the hell, And he's like, I fell in love with you and I kept you warm that night when my men had their way with your mother, blah, blah, blah. And then he throws like a lock of hair to her and she opens it up and it's her mother's hair. And she's like, what is this hair? Where's my mom? And he's like, after my men had their way with her, I took the liberty of doing whatever. And all of a sudden, like, he pulls one of these, like, it's like this white lump on his shoulder, and he pulls it, and it's his mother, like, it's her mother's head, like a spirit version, like zombified version of her mother. And she's like, I'm here, Rin. And she's like, ah! And she tries to go kill him. Then Manji shows up and fights him and shit. It's awesome. But he's the first guy. Then there's like the ninja dude we talked about. He calls Spiky. And it's kind of like he goes through all these different like tiers of these people in this dojo and fights them. And then there's another dojo who's hired by the shogunate, who are all these people on death row, like Sana was saying earlier, like the blonde-haired girl who doesn't really get a lot of screen time in it, the bald guy with the glasses, and then that guy with the hair, the yellow hair, and the saw sword. He tries to get Manji to join up with him in his dojo to overthrow, but he's like, "No, you're too sadistic. I don't like what you're doing." And what happens is, the guy who uses the axe as the weapon we talked about, his grandfather had the axe. There's like this messenger carrying this like wrapped up item, and it's the axe, and you think it's like the actual axe, and she's walking through the city. So they like intercept her. They're like, that has to be the axe for the guy we're trying to go after. Wherever she's going, we need to kill her and figure out where, or interrogate her and figure out where he's going to be. So this crew of, you don't know at the time, but they're hired by the shogunate, this like other dojo. They rush to kill this messenger, and the guy who has the saw sword, I think his name's Shiru, he goes up and he like cuts her, and she's like, "Oh, you ruined my face. That's the only way I make a living, blah, blah, blah." Then all these assassins like jump out from the trees and ambush them, and Manji and all the people fight. But then after they kill them, the guy, like Shiru, isn't like satisfied. Like, he's really sadistic, so he goes up to like try to kill this messenger girl, and Rin is like, no, she's not one of the Itu Ryu. She's like, she's just a messenger. Like, let her go. So she goes up to try to like hurt this guy, and he's like, get the hell. He like punches her in the face and like beats the shit out of her. Yeah. And then Manji comes after all this shit, and he cuts the freaking dude's hand off, but he like flees and tapes it up, and he becomes like we said later in the movie, he throws him off a waterfall and down the thing, and it's like, it's so cool. But yeah.
And what we were talking about in our very first stream with 13 Assassins about the loyalty, you see it also with Makiet, the girl in the purple dress, how she first cuts off her hair, like, I do not support anything that you're doing for your goddamn dojo. But then she does show up at the end, her loyalty towards him, like, okay, you're deep shit, I'm here to help you out. She didn't have to do it, but she was doing it. So that's loyalty.
Yeah. That's a really cool moment. I do like that. And I like the scene too where here's another funny part in the movie. Remember how she's practicing with like the throwing knives? And then they get cornered by the shogunate, and she goes, woof, and it like one of them hits fucking Manji in the back. And oh. Yeah. He's like, you still suck at throwing those things. And he pulls it out, but he puts it like in his belt of his gi.
Like really like paying attention to it. Like you see him, you're like, okay, he's going to use that soon. And he does it to uncut or untie her. And
it's such a cool moment, because that Shiru guy comes back. The hand that Manji cuts off, he like files the bone down and makes it a weapon. And then he has like a sword. He kidnaps the girl and stabs the girl with the bone hand, and she's like, ah. And he's like, drop your weapons. So Manji drops his weapons down the well, or he's like, Shiru's like, I'll kill her if you don't drop your weapons. So he takes his like katana and his wakizashi out and drops them down the well. And then the guy's like, no, all your weapons. And he pulls out like fucking a shitload of these weapons and just throws them down the well. But then he's sitting there, and the guy's just like laughing, like crazy anime manga laughter, like, you thought that I was going to let her live? I'm going to kill her. Haha. And he reaches back in his thing and gets the throwing knife, and he goes, woof. And the guy ducks, and he's like, you missed. Ha ha ha. And then all of a sudden, like Sana said, it cuts to the place he had this girl tied up, Rin, and the rope's cut, and she's gone. And he's like, what the hell? And he runs over and fights Manji, and that's when Manji like kicks his ass with no weapons, like barehanded, and throws him off the water. It's such a good flick. Like, it's so good. It's such a good movie.
But before we started the stream, you were talking about that Manji is somewhat based off a story or a real life character.
Yeah, I don't have it in the back of my head right here now, but let me look it up real quick. It's there's this character, they made movies and stuff out of this too. This character, his name's Tange Sazen, but it's kind of like the same story. He's a one-eyed, one-armed swordsman who is a fictional character in Japanese literature, and he gets attacked and mutilated, kind of like Manji does in Blade of the Immortal, and then he basically becomes a Ronin and goes around like pretty much like putting down uprisings of evil people, kind of like what happens in the movie. There's a lot of really cool movies directed about this, and I didn't even know about this, like, honestly, until today when I was like, you know, looking like Blade of the Immortal up. I was like, when was it made? Who directed it? And I was like, oh shit, this is like based on a Japanese literary character. Like, there's a scar on his eye and everything, and it's really cool. He's actually mentioned in the manga of the anime show Dead Man Wonderland. His name is actually dropped in that, so that's kind of neat. He's not in the anime or the manga, but his name is mentioned, so it's really cool. I think somebody says like he fights like, you know, Tage-Sazen or whatever, but super cool connection to like Japanese literature and Japanese mythology, like we talked about. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at like this list now. There's like a dozen or so movies that this character's in.
Mm.
This guy Tange, you know, says, and I've never even heard of him, like I said, until today. So we're gonna have to check some of those movies out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, but Vivi said we got to talk about the story of Ricky in the future.
Who?
Vivi, what's the story of Ricky? I'm not sure what that is. If you're still there, Vivi, I think he left.
Yeah, like who would stay, right?
Everybody left. Nobody likes Blade of the Immortal.
Or us.
My incense is out too. What a shame. Well, that's the end of the stream. It's done burning, so we're cutting it out. Just kidding.
Basically, it was used for him to like show some smoke signals to let me know, like, hey, I'm on StreamYard. You can join.
Yeah, absolutely. They actually traveled really far. I'm surprised they made it like all the way to Europe, over to the Netherlands.
Like, it's so dark, but hey, there he is.
Over to the Netherlands.
My earring.
Oh, Baby said he's still here. He said it's a crazy, ultra brutal manga adaptation.
Can you say manga?
Sorry, manga adaptation, Sana. Sana always corrects my Japanese pronunciation. Okay. I'm glad she's teaching me how to speak Japanese. She's my Japanese teacher. We have a lesson later.
I don't really want to be an asshole or anything, but I really always cringe so hard when someone says manga.
That's all right. Yeah, that's cool. Listen, I encourage you to be an asshole. Make sure I say it properly, damn it. Smoke signals on the original live stream. Thank you, Louie. Appreciate you.
You're still here. That's pretty cool.
BV says, when in doubt, just say hentai. Yeah. Someone says that on a regular basis. Mm-hmm. Right?
Or anything related to it.
Oh, my goodness. I love it.
Ikuyo.
What does that mean, Sana? I don't think I've ever heard that before.
It means you're beautiful.
Mm-hmm. You're beautiful.
No, not that.
I know. Stop. I'm sorry. That's what's his name? James Blunt. This is about Blade of the Immortal. We're not talking about music here, but
he smoked a blunt while writing this song.
It's done. The smoke's gone. Oh my goodness, I love it. Hentai transcends all genres. Cool Devices review, episode by episode. Oh, I love that we can have this amazing adult conversation. This is PG 30, right? PG 18 up. Rated R for really fucking awesome. But
awesome.
ridiculously awesome. But yeah, Blade of the Immortal. I know we're off on a hentai tangent here, but it's a really cool flick. I will say this though. I do want to mention this. It is really loyal to the manga and really loyal to the anime and the way it's adapted and depicted. However, I do want to say this because I know we're doing the CinemAsian stream stuff, and I brought this up the last couple times. It comes up on Rotten Tomatoes with an 86%. And you know what? I think I think I'm in line with that. I think it's like an 86%, like an 8.6 out of 10. I don't think, as much as I love it and as great as it is and as fantastic as it is, the first two movies that we did and even Ghost in the Shell, I find those to be, for me anyway, like the upper echelon. Like it's almost like this is like, I don't want to say it's a whole tier below those, but it's like a step down. You know, it's like, this is a really good movie. It's awesome. I love it. But compared to Ghost in the Shell, which is, I mean, we just talked about all that shit yesterday, and I'm still thinking about it today. It's like fucking mind blowing, you know? And the emotion that's in Man from Nowhere and the reality and the realism that's depicted in 13 Assassins, like, this movie has that in pieces. And there's that fantastic element in it, and the mythological element, and the literary element in it. And I love, like you said, the main actor is fucking great in it. I love the character Manji. He's hilarious. But yeah, I think out of all the streams we've done so far, I think this movie is probably, in my opinion, I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I think it's a fucking amazing movie, but it's probably the weakest out of all those, I think, in my opinion. What about you? Where do you put it in the CinemAsian streams that you and I have done so far? What are you giving this movie? Where do you rank it? Where do you think it sits in those four, including this one that we've done? Where are you placing this one?
Well, it will be number 4. But as you mentioned, Rotten Tomatoes, I don't really look at those sides because, it's just someone's opinion, and I have my own opinion. And in the future, because I got the manga, it's up there, Blade of the Innocent. I got it, I think, this week because we were talking about it, and I was like, okay, I will get it because out of the many, it was one of the few that you recommended, including this baby right here. And there will be a separate stream on the manga, of course. And then maybe I should also watch the series so we can do like Ghost in the Shell-ish thing that we can compare like what is better.
The only thing I think that we need to do if we're going to do the manga for Blade of the Immortal is we have to get all 30 volumes. So this is only volume 1. So we need to do the essential like 30 volume compilation. Do you know what I mean? No, I'm just joking. Your face. What? Are you fucking serious? Yeah, volume 1. Volume 1.
Well, give me the library part.
I love it. Jeff, what's up? How are you, man?
Oh,
thanks for coming in.
And you don't say hi to me?
Oh, it's all right. He's showing you love. You're on the channel. It's cool. That's like a personal sauna. Jeff loves you. Jeff loves you. He's here.
On Gorgonzola.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. Throwing out the cheese.
I'm a burn your mozzarella.
Oh, my God. This is a hard R rating. A hard R rating. Vivi says the R is not the only thing that's hard. Yeah. I can see
talk about it,
Me? I mean, I can't stand up right now if that helps, That's what V said. I love it. Oh, nice. Nice. Ooh. Hey, guys. I want to say thanks for helping in the chat. Sanne and I really appreciate it. What do you guys think about Blade of the Immortal? Do you guys ever see it? I mean, I know V has seen it. What about Jeff, Louie? What do you guys think about the movie? Is there anything in particular that stuck out to you guys in the movie? What do you think about Manji? Have you read the manga? Have you seen the anime on Amazon? What do you guys think?
So we will wait. This is an intermission. Let's see what the world is now.
What's going on in the world? Oh, Jeff just said, hey. Oh, Jeff. Oh. There's your love.
Oh, hi, Jeff. It took a while. I'm just checking my notes if I miss out on anything. Well, on a lot of things, but...
Nah, you didn't miss out on anything. I mean, I have a ton of stuff to say. I just want to see if anybody else has input or you have any more input. I mean, I could go on for days.
That actor wasn't that actor and that actor wasn't that... Well, okay, that sounds hentai, but that actor wasn't that...
That actor wasn't hard enough. He needs to be hard.
A hot R.
Blade of the hard-on. Okay, I'm done. No more movie announcer voice for me.
No? Manji came to the village.
In a world where Manji's dead, the bloodworms bring him back to life.
That sounds love. They bring him back hard.
They bring him back hard.
He wanked so hard, his hand fell off, but the worms brought it back.
Blade of the... Oh, yes. Thanks, bro. Thank you. Loowee. Free Key Loowee, thank you for your support.
It almost sounds like freaky.
Freaky Loowee. No, but you know what else I love about Blade of the Immortal? It's I think you mentioned it earlier too, is the fact that it's a 2.5-hour movie, literally.
Mm.
And it feels like you're so entertained watching it. It feels like it's an hour and 15 minutes or an hour and a half, you know?
What I really liked about the M battle, though, I was like, man, the 13 assassins needed him, because they could sit back on the rooftop eating the onigiri, you know, just like the other guy is like eating his rice balls. Like, he's not really intimidated by the guy that's
I actually thought that at the very beginning of the movie when he kills like 100 people by himself. I was like, 13 assassins needed him, you know?
Mm. But it also really reminded me of 13 Assassins. I told you that before, like 13 Assassins and Rurouni Kenshin, which...
Rurouni Kenshin. Yeah, we gotta check it out. We're gonna have to... You're gonna have to watch the anime and read the manga too. Because you haven't read those yet, have you? You just seen the movies, right?
I only have these two.
Oh, you do have 2 volumes. That's right.
Yeah, number 7 and 17. No, 2017. But I know the live action movies. I have all 3 of them, and I fucking love it.
Yeah, the live action is really, really cool. You know, this is you know what I think's funny too, now that you mentioned that? I know that this carries the spirit of the manga and the anime in it, and you can see it, how it's depicted. But if you had never heard of Blade of the Immortal before, if you had never read a manga, if you had never read or watched the anime series on whatever, because there was actually 2 anime series. There's this one that came out in 2018 on Amazon, then there was one like 10 years before that was only like 13 episodes long. If you've never seen those and you don't know what they're about and you saw this movie, you would think like, oh, that's a really cool like Japanese mythological movie. Like you would think that. You'd be like, oh, it's a really cool Japanese like mythological fantasy movie. But a lot of people like don't know that it's based on the manga or the anime, you know? I mean, even if you look at the cover of the movie, right? It says right on here. At the very top, it says the 100th film by Takashi Miike, legendary director of 13 Assassins. And then at the bottom, it says he will take 1,000 lives to protect one. If you saw this at the store, the video store, or you know, at a shopping center or something, and you were going to pick this up, you would think it was a samurai movie. You know, even the back, it doesn't really say anything about it being based on the manga whatsoever. So you would see this and be like, oh, really cool Japanese flick, right? So I think that's pretty cool. Like, you wouldn't even know that it was about the manga, and then you watch that, discover it, and then you're like, I wonder if there's any more movies like this. And then people research it, and then they're like, oh shit, maybe I need to go read manga. Maybe I need to go check out the anime. It's pretty neat. So the thing I like about it too is it can stand alone. No, what were you saying? I'm sorry.
And they should check out manga and stuff like that, you know, because a lot of people they just know all the weird stuff, and they judge Japan on that while they have so much more. I mean, if you, I mean, I don't understand. Like a lot of people who are into superheroes, they are like, yeah, but the Japanese is kind of like weird. Yeah, but aren't superheroes weird too? I mean, they also have like these weird powers.
Let me hit you with this real quick because you said superheroes and I love it, and I know you mentioned it earlier, and I'm gonna tie it back to Blade of the Immortal. The character Wolverine. Character
Right.
Wolverine reminds me of fucking Manji. Like, there's a cover that's called Wolverine Goes to Hell, and in the Wolverine Goes to Hell cover, he has like all these swords stuck in his body, and he's alive. And it reminded me of that scene, like I said in the fucking movie, where the guy has like 30 fucking weapons sticking out of his back. The like, and the thing that's so cool about the character Wolverine too, and I know I'm going off on a little bit of a tangent here. He basically is like very, very similar to this fucking guy. Like, he gets an adamantium skeleton, which is kind of like his curse for immortality. Every time he goes like this and his claws come out, he feels pain. Just like Manji says in the movie, the only thing we have in common is the pain we feel because we can't die. Just like the movie The Wolverine. Like, the entire time in that movie, he's in fucking Japan in that movie too. He's in Japan. He's like, I
Hello.
want to, I want to give up my immortality so I can live. Do you remember that in the Wolverine movie?
I
He goes
haven't seen
to
it in a long time.
Yeah, he goes to the one guy he saves in World War II from the bombing in Hiroshima and Nagasaki or whatever it was, and he's like, I can give you a gift that will take away your immortality. And he basically wants the immortality. You remember that part?
Vaguely, but I do know that Sanada or Sawada, the actor, that's also in 47 Ronin and The Last Samurai, he's in there. Like instead of Ken Watanabe, he's also like the go-to Japanese actor.
Ken Watanabe is amazing. I love fucking Ken Watanabe. He's amazing.
The other guy is more cool. If you understand who I'm talking about,
I don't. It's not ringing any bells. Boop.
Ronin, he
You
is
said 40.
in he is in the movie Wolverine when he's in Japan, and he's also in The Last Samurai.
Wait. I know who he is. He also plays in the movie Rush Hour 3 with Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker. He's the main
Yeah.
villain, right? Yeah, I know who he is. Okay, yeah.
He is actually trained by Sonny Chiba, the one that was considered the Japanese Bruce Lee.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hitting you with some knowledge. Everybody in the chat, take notes. Get the notebook out. Konnichiwa.
He
Amazing.
played Hattori Hanzo in Kill Bill.
Hattori Hanzo.
Hattori Hanzo.
Silver Samurai. Yeah. The Silver Samurai and the Wolverine. Amazing. He tries to suck the lifeblood out of Wolverine so he can live forever. You know what's funny? I love how you tied that in, Sana. You just bring up all this cool shit, how it's related to comic books. And I can't stop thinking about the Wolverine now because it's so much like this fucking movie, if you think about it. Like, the bloodworm poison weakens his healing factor. In the movie The Wolverine, there's this lady who breathes poison into Wolverine's mouth. She's like a viper, and it weakens his healing factor. And they put like a leech inside of his body, kind of like to weaken it. It's so similar. Like, it's fucking crazy. I love how you said that. You're like, people hate Japanese because there's no superheroes, but right here's a fucking superhero. It's like, you know what, though? That's a really good point, too. And I want to bring this up because American comic books are like Japanese manga. That's like a clear fucking influence right there. This manga back here probably influenced a lot of fucking Japanese, or excuse me, a lot of American comic book writers. Like Sean said yesterday with Ghost in the Shell and that Tokyo Ghost thing by Rick Remender, how fucking similar that was. I mean, the connection's right there, you know? And we talked about this in our very, very first stream. How much shit is influenced by an island in Asia that is literally fucking that big in, like I said this before, in the fucking entire globe. They're influencing fucking Wolverine. You know?
Yeah. Just saying.
And then Louis said Frank Miller, and I mentioned this yesterday in the stream with Ronin, the graphic novel Ronin that he wrote. Huge inspiration from the one story, I forget, Lone Wolf and Cub, that comic book run or that manga run. He took huge inspiration from that. So it's amazing.
No, you are hitting me with facts.
Oh, I thought you knew that.
No, I don't know anything.
You know a lot. You know a lot of stuff. Don't let Sana fool you. I said this before. If anybody has any questions about Japanese culture and actors, make sure you hit up Sanimation05. And I say this all the time. She will blow your mind. Right?
And I could blow some more.
I knew it was coming. I got to change the blow part.
Oh, you knew it was coming?
Oh, my goodness.
Ooh, pepperoni.
Pepperoni pieces is on the horizon.
Yes.
Oh, I think I can smell them.
That's amore.
When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie.
Pepperoni pizza pie.
That's amore. Chris Claremont. You know what's funny, Louie? I love that you brought up Chris Claremont. That brings a really good point to me. Chris Claremont did a lot of shit with the X-Men. He also did a lot of shit with Thanos, that character. And I was telling Sana this before the stream because we were talking about immortality and the whole notion of actually being alive forever is almost like a death in a way. Like I would rather die and have a good life than live forever and see all the pain and suffering in the world and lose everybody I love, so on and so forth. And the Greek word for immortality is athanos, and the Greek word for death, ancient Greek, is thanatos. Or thanatos, excuse me, thanatos. So think of the character like Thanos, thanatos, immortality and death, and that whole notion of it ties back into Blade of the Immortal, and it's the same thing with that character Thanos. Like he wants to rid the world of a certain population so a new thing can survive, and it's kind of like it's funny because Thanos is death and he wants to kill people. Thanos, pretty neat, right?
And just like Assassin's Creed taught us that Malaka is idiot, and idiot in Japanese is baka.
See, there you go. Words that people don't associate with. That's funny too. Like Sana is like super like into the Japanese stuff, and I am too. I'm not gonna sit here and bullshit like that I know everything. Sana is like a lot more into it and a lot more skilled and versed in it than I am. I did it for a time, but she's done it for a longer time. She knows a lot more shit than I do about it. That's why she corrects me on all my mispronunciation and shit that I forget. But languages and stuff are super cool. Like there's a lot of really cool shit in languages. Japanese, like I just mentioned, ancient Greek, all that kind of stuff, Italian, all that shit. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. And then BB's talking about bukkake. The stream's going off the rails.
Well, it wouldn't be our stream if it didn't.
That's
right?
true. That's true. Speaking of bukkake, Jeff says, "I love you, Sanimation05." Oh.
What did I do and what did I say?
I was just being a dick. Sorry. It's our stream, right? Oh my goodness! But hey, anything else about? No, go ahead.
Louie is speaking Japanese. マジで? 本当でしょ?
What does that mean, Sana? Enlighten
really?
us.
マジで? Really? And the more polite form is 本当ですか? 本当に? Yeah. So I said 本当でしょ? It's really true.
So what's majide?
Majide is like really.
Oh, interesting.
Majide?
Really?
そうですね.
Really?
はい.
Amazing. Any other films that come to mind when you think of Blade of the Immortal? What is it similar to? We talked about comic book characters a little bit there. What about any other films you think of that are similar to Blade of the Immortal? Well, we said Rurouni Kenshin. What else? Anything else?
Well, I mean, there are a lot more similar Japanese movies that I see the images of, but I don't know the title. So I'll get back to that eventually, like next year.
Eventually in the future. Vivi says, be careful. If Jeff loves you, you might end up in a CGC.
Yeah, but I'm too high graded for him.
What would your grade be, Sana?
A 9-point porn.
9-point porn?
Yeah, but obviously a 10 plus because Regina.
I love it. Vivi's laughing out loud over there.
He always is laughing at everyone.
Laughter's the best medicine.
Yes.
He's giving you a 10. Ooh.
Well, why not a 10 plus?
Who's that lady?
What am I lacking? You're lacking a dick.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful lady. Sorry, that's the Isley Brothers.
Are you talking to me or are you talking about Jeff?
Oh, me? I was just, fueling the fire.
Ooh.
So they say. Anyway, guys. No virgin cover, though. VV. Love it.
And no, what's it called? Like blue light, UV light, whatever?
Oh, the black light.
Mm.
So you can see the stains. Yeah, that's not talking about that. You can see everything here. Don't look at my sheets; they're covered. Look, this movie.
Bringing it back to the book because it's all connected, by the way.
We're connected, right? This movie's not quite a 10, right? On the grading scale.
I think it's a 7.5.
You're saying it's 7.5?
Mm.
Yeah, I can see that. I'm gonna say it's a little bit better than that. I don't know, because I think for me, I have like a special connection to it to a certain extent, because I really do like the manga a lot and the anime. What's that?
You
like
have
the what?
worms.
I'll tell you what, if I had the worms, I'd be fucking wrecking shit 24/7.
Like sitting like this, like, oh, my ass is so itchy.
Exactly. I would I would take a samurai sword and cut my own arm off to see if it retired. Like, that's what I would do. But because I'm fucked up like that. But yeah, 7.5. I don't know. I'm gonna say it's a little bit higher than that for me. I'm saying it's probably like a 8.5, maybe 8.5, somewhere around there. Let's go 8.25 for me. We'll meet in the middle right there. Because
you want a sandwich?
Alfred, make me a sandwich. I'm Batman. Yeah. Could you imagine Bruce Wayne just sitting in the Batcave, just barking out orders to Alfred? It's the stuff you don't see on screen or like in the comics. He's just like, Batman, I'm Batman. Alfred, wash the Batmobile. It's fucking dirty. Yes, Master Bruce. Make sure you use the shop vac inside. Last time there was Cheeto crumbs. I don't appreciate it. You're my butler. That's the kind of shit I want to see, like a real dickhead Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
But hey, we appreciate everybody in the chat. Thanks for tuning in.
Except for Jeff.
Oh, come on, give Jeff some love. Listen, he corrected his mistake. Yes, he made a mistake. He didn't say hi to you at first. He apologized. He said he loved you. He said he gave you a 10.
What grade will you give me?
Me? Are you asking me this question?
Yeah. I mean, let's throw it out there. 5.
Oh my god, I can't put you on a CGC grade. I mean, you're just so much better than the CGC grade. I don't know what to say. Especially with the glasses now, I'm really feeling it. What do you guys think?
Don't ask Vivi, because Vivi will be like brutal.
Can you come closer to the camera, son? Oh,
what grade would you give me?
Look at that lipstick. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Louis. Talking about Alfred. I'm 80, Master Bruce. I love it. No, but I really appreciate you guys hopping on the chat for Blade of the Immortal. I do want to say this. The thing about Blade of the Immortal is, and I do want to say this, I think the reason why we also graded it a little bit lower than the rest of the stuff is, Sana's imitating me here. The rest of the stuff is because it is really fantastic and it's kind of over the top and it doesn't really have as much, I will say this, as much emotional depth or as much character and accuracy and reality-based shit that those other couple movies we talked about actually deal with. And I think that's a reason why it's a step down, because it doesn't have, I'm not saying it doesn't have substance because it has a shitload of it, but it doesn't have as much as the other stuff that we talked about before, It's just straightforward action with not as much emotional depth. Like you and I talked about, Sana. In Man from Nowhere, the emotional connection between the little girl and the main character is like really fucking strong. In this, it's there, but it's not fleshed out to the point where you're like, oh shit, one of them could die and you'd be devastated. It's like, okay,
Yeah, it's only near the end that you really saw like there was a connection between the two.
Exactly.
But
It
yeah,
takes
of course, it has to grow. So like anything
exactly.
else, it has to grow.
But also, and another point I want to make about it is where those two movies, 13 Assassins and The Man from Nowhere, have closure for an ending, pretty much closure. This movie does not. And that's another reason. This movie, at the very end scene, she thinks that Manji's dead, and she's sitting there like weeping over him because she thinks he's dead because the worms aren't working or healing him or whatever. And she says, "Oh, brother, what am I going to do without you, brother?" And he looks at her and he's like, "How many times have I told you, stupid? It's little, or it's big brother." And then he opens his eye, and it's like the end of the movie. So I think where 13 Assassins and Man from Nowhere are standalone movies, like they're done. They're not going to be a sequel to those movies. I mean, they're standalone. This honestly potentially could have room because I just said there's 30 manga volumes, there's 2 anime series. You could do another movie or two based around Manji and this character, and it might be like, I think as a trilogy, more powerful instead of a standalone film, if that makes any sense,
And I think after I read the manga, you maybe reread or whatever the manga. I think we
Mm-hmm.
will get back to the movie in the sense of grading. Like maybe my grade will get higher or lower or whatever. How low can you go?
How low can you go? We like it raw. Raunchy and raw, just the way I like it.
Ooh, Van Halen, who is
Teacher.
well, they're Dutch, so you should technically be saying Van Halen. They're from
Got it
Nijmegen,
right
which is
so
actually
bad.
nearby.
I'm half a teacher. Love Van Halen. You know what? I play guitar too. I want to talk about Van Halen for a second here. Eddie Van Halen's one of my inspirations for guitar playing. One of the
Mm.
greatest virtuosos on guitar of all time. Love the guy. Greatest. Besides Jimi Hendrix, I think he's one of the greatest founders of instrumental guitar playing. Eruption, the tapping and stuff on that, absolutely amazing. Love it. My favorite Van Halen song is "Ain't Talking About Love." It's incredible. It's an incredible song.
Well, it ain't much if it ain't Dutch.
Wow, I like it. I like it. I want to go back to Louis' quote here real quick, where he says, "Joe, we like it raw." That reminds me of the movie, The Hobbit, the animated movie, and the trolls are like sitting around this like circle, and they're like, "How do you like?" And he's like picking up the dwarves. They find the dwarves, and he's like, "You want to cook these or roast them?" He's like, "I likes mine raw."
Well, it reminds me of the sushi bar scene in Showdown Little Tokyo, where Dolph Lundgren takes Brandon Lee to this sushi bar, and they're all naked women. He's like, "Oh, I could get into sushi."
Oh, nice. See, I was just thinking of the word raw, and I was like, raw. You're thinking of like raw, like
Raw fish. Because Brandon Lee says that he doesn't like, or at least his character, that he doesn't like raw fish. And then they walk in there to see all these naked chicks where the sushi is placed on. He's like, "Oh, I could get into sushi."
that's awesome. I love that scene too. It's a great movie. It's a great fucking movie. Got it bad. I'm gonna say it again. So bad.
I'm hot, teacher.
I'm half a teacher. We're talking about the glasses that Sana's wearing, right?
I think he's talking about you.
There's rabbits in that movie, Joe. So good. So good.
I don't
But
know what you're talking about, so.
we're talking about the animated Hobbit. Legit. But hey, guys, I appreciate everybody in the chat. I think Sanne and I are going to go here pretty soon. If you guys have anything to say, I'll stay on for maybe like 5 more minutes. But after that, we're going to cut this bad boy off. Way to the Immortal. Check it out. Please read the manga. Check out the anime series. Check out this movie. Check out Sana's channel. Make sure you guys are subscribing and hitting that up if you rewatch. Sorry, son, I can't speak English. You might want to correct that for me.
I correct something else.
But I appreciate you guys coming in here and supporting Sanne and I on these CinemAsian streams. Is that what we're going to do next?
Yeah, that's what you said. Let me know.
Okay.
We do everything that you say. So,
are we doing it on yours or mine?
We'll see.
All right, guys. So I just found this out right now at the same time as you. Check this out. This is live right now.
No. You said it fucking yesterday after the fucking stream. We can talk about Iron the Scale because it's like based on like a Tom Cruise movie. By the way, this is my.
Ooh, Lara Croft. Ooh, Tomb Raider. Ooh. Hey, thanks for hopping. Hey, Louie.
Animation domination.
It's animation domination and the hellacious one. I love our
that
little
happens
nicknames,
after
man. Yeah. But Louie, man, hey, I want to give a shout out to you, man, because you're always on here supporting Sanne and I on our streams, and I really appreciate your humor, man, and you giving us shout outs. And like, I love the hellacious one name. I would have never thought of that, man. So I appreciate that. It's a really cool moniker. Thank you for that, man. Super awesome. You're a cool dude. Mad respect for you, bro. Thank you so much. And Jeff, appreciate you coming in, man. LOL.
He's just laughing.
He's laughing. Jeff, we appreciate you too, man.
Yeah.
Thank you for hopping on the stream. It really, really means a lot. VV, no virgin cover. He was talking about the CGC grading. VV, man, appreciate you, man. Known you for a while, a couple years now. You've always supported me on IG and all that stuff, man. So thank you for that. Everybody else, Adrian Panda, awesome.
Weirdo
Thanks
Gamer.
for showing up. Weirdo Gamer, thank you for being here.
Probably eating some fish now.
We really, really appreciate you guys hopping on and tuning into this. What Santa was saying before we go here, All You Need Is Kill. If you guys ever saw the movie Edge of Tomorrow or Live, Die, Repeat with Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt, that movie is based off of the manga All You Need Is Kill, where people respawn, they're trying to kill this alien race and all that kind of stuff, and they keep coming back in these suits over and over again. That's either going to be on, we're going to iron it out here this week. It's going to be on either Sanne or my channel next week.
Yeah, we will wrestle about it with some olive oil.
We're going to wrestle with olive oil. Sanne's going to keep the lipstick and glasses on. I'll take my shirt off.
And that's it, right? Just keep the glasses on.
Just make sure you're wearing the glasses.
Yay.
Honor is ours, Louie. Thank you, brother. Thank you, VV. Louie, thank you again, man. But hey, guys, we're signing off here.
Yes.
Everybody, thanks again. Make sure, I know there's only a couple people watching. I'm pretty sure you guys are probably already all subbed up to each other. If you're not, please sub up to each other. Please follow each other's YouTube pages and Instagram pages and all that kind of stuff.
Yes. I'm not scratching my ass, though. I'm just pulling the pillow up, by the way.
Yeah, sure, right. Sanne and I are going to go get some pepperoni pizza and
extra
talk about future streams.
Sucking up the juice of the pizza.
This stream has been CinemAsian episode 4, the hentai edition. We appreciate you. I'm just joking. Blade of the Immortal, episode 5 or 6 or whatever is going to be about. All You Need Is Kill. You guys are awesome. Thanks a lot. Sub. Bolo. Do you always. Sanimation05, thank you. Thank you. I couldn't do any of this, and I say this in the streams, and I say it in the bottom of the stuff I posted. If it wasn't for Sanimation05, I wouldn't be able to do this. So, Sanne, you're a gem.
You can kiss on the cheek right here if you want to.
Can I? Is it okay? There you go. I know you loved it. We're back to hentai again. Have a good night, guys. Have a good night, guys. We'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.